Of course, the intention was different. Our intention was to find out what's bothering you, what's hurting you, and to help you fix it, help you alleviate the problem. That's the opposite with the narcs. They're gonna get all kind of data on you and flip it around and stop you with it as soon as the first opportunity comes up. So you see what I mean? It can be used for good and it can also be used for evil. So when you're consulting with someone, you're finding out what their needs are, what bothers them, what their goals are, what makes them happy, what makes them sad, what things they like, what things they hate, what their self-conscious things are, what they're insecure about, all these kind of things. And as a trainer, we would put all of that together and then you pop out with your sales spiel. I was good at it. So I kept like some of my same clients for the whole time I trained. Kept training the same people for 10 years. They know how to do the exercises. But we had developed such a rapport by then, they would still come 2, 3 times a week, to get trained by me. It was kind of amazing. And by the questions that you ask them, you get to find out what's going on. Then you follow up with them. Maybe if they didn't buy right away, they didn't. Okay, like the guy you asked, he asked you already. You didn't say yes right away. You do what's called the follow up. Okay, so you pick up the phone or whatever. You say, "Hey, how you doing? How is your workout working for you? Do you need any help? Are any of the exercises too tough? What's going on? How is it working? So you get feedback on what's working for them, what's not, how they feel about it, and you can make recommendations if you want to, or you try to sell them on some 1 pack, 3 pack, 10 packs, whatever, and then there you go. And then when they start seeing their body change, you don't have to say too much else about anything because the evidence is selling itself. The fact that you knew what you were talking about, they trusted you enough to put their body in your hands, and then you are coming through for them the way that you told them that you would. You are changing their body, which is changing their life. And I saw a lot of women's, as their body changed and they developed more confidence, they got stronger physically and they also got stronger mentally and emotionally. For women, it seems to be tied together. I don't know why. I'm not, a psychoanalyst. I don't know the details of that. I just can tell you what I saw for 15 years. So, there's something to be said about it. So I want you guys, before we advance through the rest of this conversation, I wanted you to understand these techniques because both of them, mirroring and the consultative selling, are techniques that have been morphed into something evil and in the hands of narcs, which in the hands of a normal, sane person are something that could actually be very helpful and fun. You see what I mean? Is it this? So I don't want you to, I want everybody to understand. Don't just look at this as being only something that's negative and that only narcs use. That's absolutely not true. They have taken something really good that's helpful for people, you know, and then turned it into something designed to hurt you. So I want you to be very, very clear on that as we move through the rest of the show. Now let's talk about how narcs use the mirroring and consultative sales techniques against you. The bottom line is everybody on this planet has 4 to 5 basic needs. The fifth one comes in for men because their ego gets in there. They need their little ego pumped up. Okay, for women that's not such a big deal. So since my audience is primarily women, thank you, sunshine. I'm going to talk, primarily about the 4 things that are the needs that most people present with. Number 1 is love. Everybody from the cradle to the grave wants to feel that somebody out there loves them and cares about them. Okay. But a lot of women take it to an extreme where they need to be in a relationship. So they bounce from one knucklehead to another knucklehead to another knucklehead without really taking the time to really vet these dudes and find out what they're all about. They just need to be in a relationship. And the fact that they're in a relationship makes them feel like they're loved. And so there you go. If you have a narc, they're going to capitalize on that insecurity and that neediness. That you, boy, man, you are just setting yourself up to be roadkill. So that's 1, love. Everybody needs that. It could be good or it could be bad. Number 2, approval and acknowledgement. Um, Sometimes, you people have this really desperate need for other people to tell them that they're good enough, that what they think is okay. You see the evidence of it when they write to the column, right? I don't know if I should think this. Am I right to do this? Is this wrong? Am I a bad person? They're doubting themselves. And so this is part of that. And part number two is they're seeking approval that they're okay, acknowledgement that what they're thinking is within the realm of normal, and that it's all right. And that's part of what they're looking. They want to be seen as being pretty enough. Are they smart enough? Are they slim enough? Is their outfit good enough? I mean, is their hair cute? I mean, just on and on and on and on and on with a lot of women, a lot of insecurities. They're desperate for someone to acknowledge them. That again will be used against you by a narc. Number three, security. Everyone needs to know that they're going to have food when they open up the refrigerator, that they're going to have money in their bank account when they need to pay a bill, that they have a roof over their head, that they can get medical treatment when they need to. These kinds of things. And then a lot of the security for women revolves around relationships, right? You need to know that your dude's not cheating on you, that he's there for you, all this kind of stuff. So that's what you're looking for. That's what you're looking for. Are you going to get that with a narc? Mm, ah, who knows? It's a gamble. And then the final one is survival. That sense of survival in some people is very, very strong, and others is very weak. I mean, the human body has it innately because as an organism, it wants to survive. But a lot of women will put that aside because to them they feel like they can't survive unless they have this relationship, unless they have this man. So you see what I mean? It's the sense of survival is like it's your fight or flight response to get you out of danger. That thing that you fear, you get like the tingles up the back of your neck when somebody's walking behind you, all that kind of stuff. That's your survival instinct. Where does it go when you guys get involved with narcs and you go back to them and you keep going back to them and you keep going back to them? It's like you get away from them and the food and then you keep going back to them. There's a lot to going on with that. I'm sure there's some deep psychological um, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. There's some reason, some wound or some trauma that has happened to individuals who don't put their survival instinct as a first. It's a distant whatever, and they put all these other things ahead of it to their own demise, their emotional demise, mental demise, and sometimes physical as well. Okay. Now when I was talking to you guys, I remember in one of my videos I was discussing how narcs uh, kind of screen you to see if you're going to be a good victim. A lot of women are flattered when they first meet a guy, right? And he's like, he's sitting there, he's staring at you, right? And he's just looking at you, and they thinking, oh, he's just so fascinated with me, and this and that, and blah blah blah. And she just running her mouth, she just talking, 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 talking. And in reality, this is a narc category. He's getting data from you. You don't even understand what's happening. So I tell y'all to shut up. Stop talking all the time. You talk too much. And you tell them all kind of stuff about you that you should not be telling. Remember in the letter the other day? What a girl had told her boyfriend about her child, the mom's boyfriend stuff that went on, and he's sitting up there reenacting it while she's asleep. That's because she was dealing with a narc and she gave him some food to use against her. You don't tell them that kind of stuff. You just don't. You don't. You keep it to yourself. You tell your shrink. That's the only person you need. I mean, you can tell me, because what am I going to do with it except try to figure a way to help you? But you have to be selective. Let me put it that way. Very, very selective about who you tell stuff like that to that can come back to just cream sauce you. And one thing I don't give, you don't never tell a man. Never. Okay? If you just don't take nothing else from this channel, it's that. You don't ever tell them anything that's that hurtful if from your past. You keep your mouth shut. First chance they get, they're going to look at you. Because the thing about narcs is they're real good at reading people. They're really good. They can look at you and they can see the vulnerability in your eyes. They can see it by the way you carry yourself, by the way you look at them, the way you hold your head, your posture. They ask you a few basic questions. They're gonna get a good idea of if you're that needy kind of woman, if you have insecurities or this and that, or if you're the kind of to tell them where to go and how to get there and how fast to fly to get off the cliff to make sure it happens. And so they don't want none of that. So they're gonna get away from women like that. I've had some tangles with some narcs, but not for long because they figure out that I'm a bigger narc than they are, and then they just going down the road. It's not like I'm a narc, but I definitely can adopt those narky attitudes. Let me put it that way, when necessary, like a fucking chameleon. And I put it on, and then when I get done, I take it off. I'm not gonna be like that with y'all. You know what I mean? But when I get around with men, that shield goes up, and my narc costume gets put on. I'm telling you, you guys gotta toughen up. You gotta toughen up. I don't know what to do to help you do that. I mean, other than what I'm doing, if there's a video that you really vibe with here, that you find really gets you going and get you like pumped up and stuff, please listen to it like a day every week, every day if you need to, whatever you need to do to start getting yourself stronger because these guys are getting worse and worse and worse. It's like they're being born narcs. I'm not sure what's going on. I don't remember it being like this when I was growing up. You run into some occasionally, but the guys were just normal. Not these dudes these days. It's just ridiculous. So when you are talking about mirroring and you got a narc race, you giving them all this data, right? And this is where, like I told you, me and my cousin disagreed about when you get to meet a man, telling him what it is you're looking for. She says you should never do that because he's gonna magically turn right into that dude, and that's what they do with mirroring. Whatever you were looking for, oh yes, I like that too. Oh, whatever you do, oh yes, I would love to do that too. Whatever hobbies he claims he had, he puts that down. He picks up yours. Your favorite color, first when you met him, he said his favorite color was brown. But you say yours is purple. Now all of a sudden he buying everything purple. He starts using your little catchphrases and stuff. Your drink, you like to drink, I don't know, some kind of drink. What do I like to drink? Just say somebody like to drink an apple tea. Those things are too sweet, but that's lemon drop martinis. That's what I used to like to drink. Lemon drops. Okay, so he ain't never had a lemon drop. Don't know what you're talking about. So he takes a sip of yours, and so now all of a sudden he drinks lemon drops too. So y'all go out to drink. Everybody drinking lemon drop. That's what I mean. So it's like whatever you like, whatever you have think about things, your opinions, your hobbies, your interests. He kind of like chameleons himself into saying that he likes those same things too. Now, what does that do? That makes you feel like, oh my God, I've met my soulmate. We just have so much in common. It's so perfect. It's so wonderful. I've waited all my life to meet a man like him. I just don't know. And so there you go. So, you ladies that believe in all that soulmate crap, you gonna be like, you just got walking on the target on your head, saying, "Narc, narc, come and get me," because I believe in drama and silliness, and so I'm gonna believe everything that you say. You don't even question it. You just get caught up in the feelings without turning on your brain to ask him some important questions. So you sit with your legs crossed. Magically, he's sitting with his legs crossed. Everything that you do, it's like he becomes like your twin. It's really weird when you start looking at him with the way that they do it is really kind of bizarre. I don't know. It creeps me out when they start trying to mirror. I'm like, wait a minute, you doing some weirdly weird stuff here. I'm not really feeling you. I'm out. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of information. She said she need to rewatch it already. There's going to be a lot of information. You know how I do. I be talking fast and I try to pop a lot. I mean, pack a lot of information into each video, so I don't have to do it 2 or 3 times. Okay, so they will do that and be mirror everything about you until they feel like they've got you on the hook. And once they feel like they got you, that's when the little mirror that was all beautiful and clear glass and had flowers and stuff around it and all that. All of a sudden, it gets thorns and it turns black and it starts poking you. That's when the narc man slips off and the real hell for you and their relationship starts. Okay. Um, One thing that you have to answer, because I want to go over so some of those who might be here who did not hear the video where I talked about how they asked you questions. I don't. It's in a narc. I did a narc series. It's in there somewhere. I don't know exactly which one. But what kind of things will narcs ask you to get this data? Okay, I gave you an example of a guy I was going out with last year, just briefly, very, very, very hot minute. And one of the things he asked me was, what? I mean, he was just bold and just came right out with it. What's your greatest fear? He asked me. Now, like I said, me knowing all them narky games, I said, okay, here we go. Here we go. It's like, I don't know, it was like our third date or something. He couldn't even wait to start getting ready to set me up. And so I just made up something. I told him something that was like, it was relatively, it would make sense that I would be afraid of it. I think I told him that I was afraid of getting with somebody and them dying, like my husband did, right? I'm not afraid of that. Everybody's going to die, okay, including me, all you, everybody. Okay, why would I need to be afraid of that? I mean, it was unpleasant, but it's nothing to be afraid of, okay? So, but anyway, I just told him that because it sounded good and it was an answer. Was it the right answer? Was it the truth? Nope. But you know what? That was a test because I wanted to see what he was going to do with that information. And I found out it didn't even take him a whole day. I'm not going to tell you all that because that's a little too personal. But yeah, less than one day, he flipped it around to use it against me. And I was like, wow, this MF, he got to go. Okay, but that anyway, that's what you do. They're gonna ask you stuff like that. All these really deep probing questions. They want to know about your family, about your habits, about your job, who you like at your job, who you don't like at your job, what kind of relationships you have with these people, what kind of relationships you have with your friends, what kind of relationships you have with your mother, your siblings, all the stuff. He wants to know every single detail about you, what makes you sick, what your allergies are, what you like to eat, what you don't like to eat, anything that's painful in your past, anything that you're embarrassed about, anything that makes you feel shame or guilt. He wants to know all of that stuff. And y'all just up there, just telling everything, singing like a canary. You need to keep your mouth shut. Okay? When he want to know about your family, say, I'm not comfortable talking to you about other people like that. We can talk about me, and I can talk about you. And when he asks you questions, thanks, Flora. He gonna ask you questions, right? You need to turn it right around, and this is your mirroring, and ask him the same thing. And then he gonna be like, well, why are you asking me that? Well, you asked me first, so you shouldn't ask a question that you're not willing to answer, home skillet. So, tell me about your family. Tell me about your job. Tell me about your friends. What we gonna be having data on stay all over the place. Let me get some on you. Now keep in mind, if he's like me, he gonna be talking, but what you get is not gonna be real. Keep that in mind. But you still need to ask, okay? Because somewhere in all the stuff he's going to say, there are going to be some truths in there somewhere. But I don't want you to go around thinking just because he said it that it magically is the gospel, okay? Because the narcs lie. You're going to deal with a narc, you got sort of kind of somewhat got to be turned into a narc yourself. Either that or get rid of them, okay? Um, So here you are, you sharing all your weaknesses, all your vulnerabilities, all your things that made you sad. You might even shed a couple of tears because you remembering it all. You tell them about how you insecure about your flat booty or your fat booty or your thighs, and you don't like this, and how come you have a giant forehead, and you don't like your nose, and you gonna tell him all these things about yourself, right? And he just ching, 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 just keeping a running tally. And then whatever it is that you're looking for, like, he's gonna say stuff like, oh, you shouldn't think that your belly is that big. I love a woman with a round belly. It looks like, so I don't know, he gonna make it sound like it's something cute, right? So you gonna feel all relieved that he likes, you just the way you are. Just wait. That's gonna come back to bite you in your booty. It's going to bite you. Once you relax your guard and you start telling them all your deep dark secrets, it's pretty much over for you. It's a wrap for you. Okay. Let me move on from that. Now, how do narcs want to use you? Lots of ways. They want to use you lots of ways. With all this little information that you've given them now, right? They know how to get to you. If you're the sensitive little concerned type that want to take care of everybody, you always worried about everybody if they eating and do they have enough, are they comfortable, all this kind of stuff. Well, see, you're gonna be the easy mark because he's gonna hit you with a sob story about some money. He just needs a short-term loan, so he got the money, but he can't get to it right now because his ATM card, something. He gonna have some weak excuse why he needs his money real quick, and you gonna give it to him. Or he needs a little help. He tried to get back on his feet after a divorce, and that evil woman took his kids and she took all his money and everything, and he don't have nothing, so he needs a little help to get back on his feet. And you gonna feel like, well, he's my man and he's my Mr. Magic, he's my answer to my dreams. We have a future here. Let me write this check, because you have that attitude. Well, I'm going to help my man. So I told you, don't never help them. Don't never help them. So you might be, you have something that they want. In other words, so you have either money or you have status somehow, like if you're like hold some kind of office, or you're a big time attorney or a doctor or something. There's some, you're a big time model. There's something about you that by him affiliating with you, some of that bright shine that you have is going to reflect off onto him, just by him being in your presence. People are going to say, oh, he's with so and so, yeah, she's all that, she's this and that. He's looking for stuff like that. Sometimes it's just as basic as he's a homosexual. He's looking for somebody a place to rest his nappy head. Sometimes, if you're an extremely wealthy type, well, then he knows he'll never have to work again, or he'll get to work in your father's business or something like that. It'll be some cushy job where he wears $1,000, $1,200, $1,500 suits and, $800, $900 shoes every day. He don't really have to do too much if he affiliates with you, especially if they get you pregnant, right? That's what they do. The Dusties. They are constantly trying to get some young woman who has promise and a bright future and who comes from a family of means. They want to get her pregnant, so they always have their hooks in her, and her family will always be able to find a place to live and come with a sob story about, oh, we want to be a family, this and that, blah blah blah. And that's how they get in the door. And the last one is if you are an exceptionally beautiful young woman. He could even be an old dusty. He might have some money or something, but he's gonna still be trying to get his hooks into you because of the fact that your stunning gorgeousness makes him look like he's better than what he is. That's the thing you got to realize about narcs. They're all very super insecure. They don't really they don't know who they are really. They just live their life just gaming on people and women, gaming on women and trying to use them and figuring out ways to set women up to be taken. It's a really strange lifestyle. I just don't know what they be getting at and why they be bothered like that. But the energy that they spend into trying to get over on people, if they used it to better themselves, they could be so much further along. But that's not what they choose to do. So my job is not to talk about them and worry about them. My job is to warn you so that you don't get involved with them. And if you do, that you know how to get yourself back out. Okay. So once you start catching them in lies or you start calling them on their stuff, right? Well, all that Prince Charming and all the mirroring and all that stuff is going to stop. And once it stops, that's when they're going to start going in on you and they're going to start picking you apart. And the problem is that once a woman gets caught up in that, she starts you. It's like you keep thinking about the days when it was really good, right? And you don't realize, okay, those days are over, and those days really never existed anyway, because he was merely reflecting an image to you back of yourself. So you, the person you was falling in love with, was you, because that's not really who he is. He was pretending to be who you wanted him to be, which was really most of us, love ourselves. So we have somebody in our face who's like with us. We're like, oh yeah, he's cool, he's wonderful, he's the shit. This is great, but really The man that you thought he was doesn't even exist. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's all a dream. It's a figment of your imagination. Okay, he's not real. So you start seeing him for who he really is, right? He gonna flip it around somehow from that mirror thing that turns dark with the thorns. Somehow it's going to be your fault that he's treating you like this now. Well, you did this and that, and so that's why I'm doing this. Well, you didn't pay me enough attention, and so that's why I went out and cheated. Well, you didn't you went out with your friends, and I told you I wanted to spend the evening with you, and so that's why I went online and was messing with all these different people. So whatever thing he does to try to hurt you, or even if he says something directly that from the data he gathered, he spins it back to hurt you, is always blamed on you. He's just been waiting for an opportunity to do this, because that mask is going to fall off eventually. They can usually keep that narky mask on for a couple of months. Sometimes even it's up to a year. The more mature ones with more practice, as much as a year. But trust me, it's going to come off. And when it does, you're going to be in a world of trouble. That's why you don't move in with them right away. These girls moving in with these dudes, and they be looking like, oh no, what have I done? I have to move right back out. Um, Another thing to keep in mind with mirroring is that it has a grooming component. You might not see it right away or really understand that's what's happening, but he's grooming you to give to him the way that he wants you to. In situations such as he might say something like, well, um, call me when you get home. Before you leave, call me. Tell me where, let me check in with while you're out there with your friends drinking, because, I'm worried about you. So it sounds reasonable, right? He wants to make sure you got home safe, right? That's a reasonable request. He wants to check in to see, are you too drunk? Do you need him to come pick you up or send you home in an Uber? I mean, Uber, that sounds, innocuous enough. I mean, who's gonna really object to it? But you don't understand. The main thing is, like, you've been going to and from the house by yourself for your whole life. Why you suddenly need him to guard dog you? You have been going out drinking with your friends since you was in college. You always made it home safe every other time. Well, now it's 10 years, 15 years later. Why is all of a sudden that you can't make it home unless he knows that you doing it? You got to connect these dots. So they're setting you up so that you check in with him. He always knows where you are. He always knows who you with. He always knows what you doing, when you coming, when you going. And he's groomed you to be like that using the nice tactic. See, so you don't be suspicious. That's why I tell them, I don't tell them nothing. It's like, well, where are you going? I'm going where I'm going. Well, when are you gonna be back? When I get back? Well, who you gonna be with? Do you know them? What? I rattle off some names. It don't mean nothing because you don't know who they are anyway. So stop asking me questions. I don't care where you going, what you do, don't ask me. You know what I mean? But that's how they do it. They will set you up. I'm telling you. So then all of a sudden, then when you don't do it, you gonna catch holy hell. He gonna be all up in your mix. Well, you supposed to check in with me. You can't be going nowhere unless I know where you go. And you would have already established that pattern unknowingly, and fell into his trap. So it's something to pay attention to. Okay. Now we're going to talk about the mirroring that you need to do back. How do you mirror back what you get from a narc, or really any man? He doesn't have to be a narc. It could be anybody, male, female, bosses. You know, it doesn't matter. But of course, on this channel, we primarily talk about romantic relationships, so we're gonna focus on that. Um, the one thing that they are the most afraid of, that's why they always want to leave you first, is being abandoned, or if you threaten to abandon them. The threat does not have to be an overt. You know what I mean? You don't have to say it. If you do X, Y, and Z, we're through. I'm leaving you. You don't have to say all that. All you have to do is go quiet. You just go quiet. You ignore him. He wants your attention. Deny it to him. Deny him it. Turn your phone off. If he comes knocking on your door, don't answer. Put that's his punishment. You acted stupid, and so this is your mind attention is withdrawn. What do they call that? Narc food. They live on it. They like bees with honey. They can't eat. They can't breathe unless they get their little attention and they narc food. And you are the source of it, right? Well, if you deny it to them, it brings them to their knees. They just feel confused. They don't know what's going on. Why are you acting like this all of a sudden? That's how you keep the upper hand. Of course, this means that you have to do this, like I said, in a progression. You don't tell them details about your life, and you keep your emotions in check. There's a video on this channel about emotional control, how women need to control their emotions. I highly recommend it for you, especially if you're new to the channel. It's one of the like foundational videos that upon which everything else on this channel is based. You must control your emotions, lady, if you're going to be successful with men in relationships, really in any situation in life. You cannot be flipping out about and getting all overly emotional about things. You have to keep yourself calm and you have to think. Okay, once you get in your feelings, you're not thinking anymore. You're reacting. And that's what narcs want you to do because you're easy to manipulate and control when you're reacting, when you're emotional. When you're in your head and you logical and you give them a steely-eyed look and you let them know that they ain't affecting you, they going to tailspin. They don't know what to do. So you guys got to practice that. Those of you who are very emotional, none of your parents didn't raise you up to be, control your emotions very much. You need to learn how to do that if you're going to be out here dealing with these knuckleheads. I'm trying to tell you. You cry at home by yourself. You go to your best friend's house and you go on there and you clock the door and you boo-hoo till your eyes fall out. Don't you dare cry in front of a man and don't you show any weakness. Okay, they want to say, well, we need a woman to let us know that she's vulnerable. No, they don't. No, they don't. If you're gonna show some vulnerability, make it fake. Say, oh, yes, I'm so crying. And watch it pop up and they use it against you later. It's always good to test them. They always fail. And the other thing that you need to do really is just maintain your boundaries with them. They're very good at violating every boundary you have. Okay. So you're mirroring. Let's talk about mirroring his actions. I made a little list. You guys could probably think of a lot more, from your own personal life, or as you reflect on some of the letters that have come through the advice column. You know, I just got the idea to do the show, so I only had like, I don't know, about 10 hours to really put my thoughts into action, so I didn't have much time to go through other columns and pull out letters. I wanted to do that, but I didn't have enough time. So hopefully some of you with good memories, or you can, like I said, pull some memories from your own life that would reflect to this, and you might say, oh yeah, I did that. So you're going to mirror his actions. Now keep in mind, this does not mean that you're playing hard to get. This does not mean that you're trying to act like you're not interested. If you are interested, you're going to communicate that in a mature way. You're not going to be gushing like a teenager over a rap group or something. You're not going to do that. You're just going to say, yeah, I'm very interested in exploring where this could go. Something like that. It's non-committal, but it lets him know that you're interested. Okay, just in case he's not, a too narky, and it's something that could be fixed. What this means when you mirror his actions, it only means that you're gonna put in the exact same amount of effort and energy that he does. Why is this so hard for women? Oh my God. Most of the women, if you notice, like you think back on the columns and stuff, you look at the women in the relationship that your own family members and all the stuff, your girlfriends and all the stuff. Women put in like 80-90% of all the emotional labor, and the men do 10-20% at the most. The women are doing it all, they're doing everything. So what do you do? Okay, so what kind of things should you not do if you're gonna mirror his actions? Okay, so say he says I'm gonna call, or I'm gonna text you, whatever. No call, no text come through. What do you do? If he texts you, you text him back. If he calls you, you call him back. If he doesn't text you, you don't text him. If he doesn't call, you don't call him. Unfortunately, that's not what happens. He don't call. Y'all be calling on the chasing him down, hunting him down. Well, where are you? Why did you call me? Well, I thought we were going to talk on the phone today. I was waiting for your call. This you do all that kind of stuff. You should never do that. You're going to put in the energy, the exact same amount of energy that he puts out. That's it. Now, say he asks for a day. You're like, yeah, let's get together. What days this week are good for you? Okay, so you tell him 2 or 3 days, and he says, okay, well, let me check my schedule, and then I'll get back to you. Okay, so that means I'm going to confirm something, right? I'm going to check my schedule, and then I'm going to confirm something with you. I will get back to you. That's what that means. Okay, but you gave him 2 dates. Date number one comes, ain't heard from him. What does that mean? That means that you go and you make plans for day number two. That's what that means. So that when the time he finally does get around to call, if he even does that, you'll tell him, oh, you took so long to get back to me. I made other plans. You don't stress out about where he is, why he ain't called you, where was he doing, what does this mean? You don't do any of that. You don't do any of that. You give him back the energy that he gave you, which was nothing. Okay? You didn't call and he didn't text and you don't have a date with him. That means zero energy came from his camp. So why would you chase him down and why would you um, you know, want to be bothered with him? This ain't no comedy. This is real. Unfortunately, I hope it's not. These are real. These are real antics that these fools do. And if he hasn't contacted you, then that means you don't have a date, and so like I said, you go out there to make other plans. Okay. Number three, say he's supposed to pick you up at 7 o'clock. Okay, now it's 7:30. No call. He didn't text. No smoke signals. No carrier pigeons. Nothing. You get nothing. Okay, what does that mean? It means you already dressed right because you was gonna go on the date. You get on the phone and you hang out with your friends, okay? Because you already got your outfit on and your hair did, and your nails and all this old stuff. So you go out and you have a lovely time without him. Why? Because he didn't put forth any effort. He was just talking snuck. And a lot of times they want to do that kind of stuff because they think that they're going to keep you at home, right? You're going to be mad. You're going to be hunting them down. Well, where are you? And he's going to be like, I'm on my way. I'm on my way. I'll be there in about 30 minutes. So you waiting another hour go by. He still ain't there. Now, what's happening all evening? You been in the house. And he out doing whatever he doing. Why? Where they do that at? Say, you got a 10-minute window. I give you 10 minutes like a restaurant. You supposed to be there 7 to 7:10, I'm gone. Okay, now you might see me like my dude Paul did, going down the stairs to get in somebody else's car because he got there so late. But you know what? He was never late again after that. I didn't have to say nothing. See, my thing is, I could show you better than I could tell you. I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm not gonna call you. I'm not gonna be chasing you down. I'm not gonna be begging you to come over. I'm not going to be doing any of that kind of stuff. I know Carrie Pigeon. Why did I say that? But anyway, that's you can't do that, ladies. You just have to have plan B. You got them phone. You like your girls is going out. I say, oh, I'm supposed to be going out with this clown, but where y'all gonna be? What time y'all gonna get there? Okay. Well, don't be surprised if you see me. Right? Plan B. And if you guys can't do that, then just go out with your go get your car, your sister, go to your mama's house, do something with yourself, but do not be at home waiting for him. Okay. Number four. Okay, this was. Oh, I used to have this guy that used to do this to me. He did it a couple of times. I mean, the first time I didn't really notice it, too much because I was doing something else too, multitasking I call it. But the second time I was like, why did he even call me? I just hung up. But anyway, so he called you right, and he talking to everybody else in the background. He's laughing and joking. He gave a few words to you, this and that, this and that. Yeah, man, because blah blah blah. Yeah, yeah, babe, such and such and such a dude. Nah, man, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Hold on a second. It's just terrible. So you know what it does is it puts you in a position where he knows that you're seeking his attention, right? You're seeking his validation. You're seeking his approval. That's why you staying on the phone with a man who's not even talking to you. He called there to waste your time, and you sitting up there letting him do it. Oh no, yeah, they do that. They do that. That's why I never call men because I feel like if you call him and you interrupt him when they're doing something, he's gonna be polite and try to talk to you, whatever. But in reality, he can only do one thing at a time, so he's thinking about that. He's doing that. So you interrupted him. The only way that works is with his husband and wife, and you don't call him that much, like at his job or whatever. So when the phone rings and it's you, and it's like, oh my God, I wonder what happened. He's gonna pay attention because he's so not used to that. Okay, but then that's a different. That's your husband. But just some dude you just dating and stuff, you don't call them. I wish I would call a man. I'm not doing that. Yeah, that's what I do too, Flora. I mean, like I said, the first time I was doing something, I don't know, probably working on my, I don't know, I don't remember the details, but I remember I was just as preoccupied as he was. So we were both, I wasn't really tripping when there was silence on the phone because I was concentrating on what I was doing, and then he was talking, and I'd yeah, like, yeah, 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 blah, 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 and then I'd go back to doing what I was doing. So it didn't bother me the first time. The second time is when I said, wait a minute, he's gonna be his pattern here now? And then that's when I just hung up. Okay, and then that was okay. So you got to, if he's doing that kind of stuff, he doesn't really have time for you. So don't be sitting on the phone hanging there, like begging for scraps of his attention. You mirror back what he gave you, which is some half-ass nothing. So you just hang up. Number five, you notice that you cook and you fix his plate and you doing all this kind of generous stuff for him. Does he ever do that for you? What does that mean? That means you mirror his behavior back. Remember, we're giving them what they give back. What caretaking things does he do for you? If you sitting there and you can't think of nothing, but you always doing some caretaking things, nurturing things for him, that's a one-sided, out of balance situation. Stop it. You mirror back exactly the energy that he gives you, which is nothing. Okay, you cook. You got kids, of course you're gonna cook for them. You're gonna cook for yourself too. So he gonna be like, babe, can you bring me a plate? Nope, I sure can't. The pots are right there. May help yourself. Get up. You healthy. You ain't gonna hover around. Your ass can walk. Make it happen. Yeah, them only textures. I don't do that either. Okay, at number six, I wrote down. I was just thinking of stuff. He gets mad, right? He get mad. He's so pissed now. He got something you did or something that you said. So he wants to shut down and give you the silent treatment, right? He want to give you the silent treatment for a couple of days, cause he gonna punish you. You up the ante. You don't speak to him for a week. Put him on waivers. And it's like, this is the energy that you're giving to me. Like you're shutting me out. Whatever problem we have, you don't want to resolve it. So what is the point? I'm not going to be chasing you down to solve a problem. And when you're ready to talk about it, we'll talk about it. But in the meantime, I'm going radio silent. I had a boyfriend that did that. He went somewhere and stayed. We was living together, right? And he stayed out all night. I was like, oh, is that what we doing? He didn't know it, but I bought me a plane ticket and came to California. That's when I was in Texas. Came to California. I was gone for a week. He didn't know where I was. His mother, everybody. His sister called me and said, he looking for you. And cause she knew my parents' home, the home phone number. She was the only one who had it. He looking for you, girl. He going crazy. I'm like, well, just let him go crazy, cause he needs to be punished for that. But see, that's what I did. Like I gave him back the energy that he gave me. The whole time we lived together, he was always home right after work, and didn't have no more problems out of him. So that's the kind of thing. Yeah, most women hate the silent treatment, but they know that you hate it, and that's why you get in your feelings about it because you hate it. You can't let them know that you hate it. You just give it back to them. I'm telling you, you guys gotta understand this. This is the kind of thing like they know what presses your buttons because you've told them. So he's gonna do it because it's gonna make you pissed. Narcs enjoy seeing you in pain. In case you forgot, that's why I said you don't tell them nothing. You tell them all these personal things about yourself. You letting them know all these things that you don't like, all your vulnerabilities and your weaknesses. Remember, I said it off the top of the show. You letting them know all the things that you don't like. He's making a checklist of stuff he's going to do. As soon as the opportunity arises, he's gonna be going down that list of the stuff that you don't like and the stuff that sends you into a tailspin. It might be something as simple as, and I'm gonna tell you this too. Okay, my mother-in-law. Okay, I was so pissed. When we had my least favorite color in this world is green. Notice you don't never see me wear green clothes. Only thing I like green is money. I don't know why. I just don't like it. And she asked me what dress color dress she should wear to the wedding. Now we had been having some rounds beforehand. I'm not sure what her deal was, but she did. She asked me that, so I said, well, I mean, I don't really care what you wear except anything except for green. What does she wear? Green. And it wasn't even a pretty color green. It was some like washed out mashed pea green something. I don't know what that dress was. It was hideous. I don't know what it does to me. I just don't like it. You have colors that you like. I like rich jewel colors, like purples and burgundies and black. Black is actually one of my favorite colors and stuff. Yes, that's what she did. She's dead. She showed up in the ugliest green dress you've ever seen in your life. It looked like she bought it at Target. And I was like, this is just awful. But you want to look like a fool in the wedding pictures? That's on you. I don't, you know what I mean? I didn't, but I learned something about her that day. And and I was really young then, but it's like, we not doing. I know better than to tell her anything, and I didn't, and tell her as nothing else. Well, emerald green, that's like a jewel color. That I can tolerate, but it's still not my favorite color. And I just, if I had a preference, I would not do it. There's too many other colors that I like better. The colors of royalty. Oh, is that it? Well, I don't know. I never thought about it that way, but that I guess you're right, huh? Yeah, those are the color tones that I like. I mean, my wardrobe is filled with those, and lots of black. That's my favorite color. Hunter green. Oh no. Okay, and then so then in number 7, you always respond very enthusiastically, and you are very appreciative of the stuff that he does for you, right? As rare as those things are, but you always show your appreciation. Thanks, you Hercules him, and you awesome him, and you do all the stuff, right? But when you do stuff for him, you can barely get a thank you out of him. He might just snatch it out your hand or just say, "Yeah, thanks," or grunt at you, something like that. He's not giving you the energy back for the thanks for the things that you've done for him. So what does that mean? What do? You mean you stop doing it. You stop doing it. The smartest men are those that not only say, like when their wife cooks and stuff, they say, "Thank you, honey, that was delicious." They teach their kids to say, "Thank you, mommy, that was delicious." Those are smart men. Okay, they know what side their bread is buttered on. You better make her feel good about all that bullshit you just went through for you. And them guys are smart enough. And plus, if the wife is a good cook and it's true, I mean, why would you not say thank you? She put so much effort into it and shopping and cooking over the hot pots and then washing the dishes and all that stuff. I mean, that's a lot of work to put a meal on the table. And these women doing it every, 5 to 7 days a week. You better say thank you. And it better be enthusiastic. And if he's not doing that, then you don't cook for him. Or whatever it was you were doing, waiting for him to say thank you, stop it. Number 8, you check in with him to see if you two can get together. Right? You always check in with him. Babe, what about Friday? Saturday I'm free. I don't have to work on Thursday. And I know that's one of your off days. This and that, blah blah blah. So you're making him let him know that you're available. What does he do? Nothing. You don't call. You don't text. He don't put forth no effort to get with you on the time that you are making extra time available for him. He just doesn't really care. He just does what he wants to do. And like, sometimes you sitting there and you hoping that you guys, can have a Friday evening together. He's off at certain time. You wait for him to get home, and he just goes off and does whatever he wants. You don't know where he is or what he's doing or why he's there. Nothing. You don't know nothing. And you're just sitting there waiting and waiting, and that's the usual routine. You wait and he does whatever the hell he wants to do. That's really kind of messed up. You haven't cooked in years? I understand, girl. I like my cooking better than anything, so I cook a lot. But I cook for me. So, and I put it in my little Tupperwares, in my freezer bags, and I write the date and what's in it, and I place it carefully in the freezer. And then, I go in there when I need a snack or I don't feel like cooking, but it's my food. I don't like restaurant food. It's too much sodium in it. Or number nine, you treat him like he's a priority, but he treats you like an option of many choices that he has. You want to get together with him. He always trying to put you on hold because he got to see what else is going on and who else is going to do this. He always got some excuse why he can't commit in advance to a date and time with you. So you're an option. Understand what time it is. Stop making him a priority. You set aside everything and drop people and friends and all kind of stuff. Don't even go to work events, all kind of stuff. So you can have time with him, but he doesn't show you anywhere near that kind of courtesy. This is the kind of thing that I'm talking about. This is the kind of energy that you give him back what he gave you. Okay? I'm like I said, there's probably many other situations. I couldn't really think of any. I mean, anymore. I thought he's nine, and that was wearing me out. But I'm sure that y'all could think of a lot more based on, like I said, situations from your own lives or lives of your friends and family members that you've encountered over the years. Um. Oh, I'm sorry. I put them. Now let's talk about some of the mistakes that you might be making with the narc in your life, where you be giving too much. This is a long list. This is a very long list. Your newborn, I understand that. Newborn babies are so cute. Yeah, they have to be a priority because they can't do anything themselves. Okay, now let's talk about some of the mistakes that y'all be making when you overgive and your relationship is out of balance. Okay, you doing the most and he's doing the least, and you have to stop. You have to readjust how much you give to these men. If he's not giving to you on an equal level to what you want to put out, you don't do it. It's very simple. You just stop. Remember the letter the other day where the lady was like, she took her boyfriend, baby daddy, whoever he is, to out of town for his birthday, spent all this money, did all this stuff. They had a weekend away. She did all this big deal. And when her birthday came, he didn't even get her card. Nothing. Don't you remember that letter? I remember because I was horrified. I was wondering why she hadn't bopped him upside the head a couple of times. But instead, she was crying and writing to me. And I just felt really sorry for her. She's with a joke. Who does that? He just telling you right to your face, you don't mean shit to me. He could at least faked it. He didn't even try to do that. That was very telling. He didn't even try to fake it. So I thought that was just terrible. Yeah, they be doing the most. So, okay, now let's talk about these mistakes you be making. Okay, you have become an expert at filling in the blanks in the relationship. You fill in the blanks with time, you fill in the blanks with conversation, you fill in the blanks with affection, you fill in the blanks with acts of service towards this other person. Anything that is necessary that's not happening, you do it. Even something as simple as taking out the garbage. That's what he's supposed to do. He don't do it fast enough for you. You do it. That kind of stuff. Stop. Stop. If the garbage doesn't get taken out, then like I said, just put it in his car. Say, well, it's gonna be out the house. Now where